Hi there, I'm the Queer Armorer. Today I'd like to introduce you to my most recent build. A Glock 19, which is going to be my everyday carry. This is the dictionary definition of a duty pistol, an everyday carry weapon, as well as a modular platform for basically any handgun build that you could want. As well as the definition of handgun for most people who don't know guns. When an idiot doesn't know what a gun is, it becomes a Glock.
This is my Glock 40. This is my problem solver right here.
Are you sure about that?
When people with the mental capacity of children want to discuss about how dangerous guns are, they talk about Glocks.
That punk pulled a Glock 7 on me. You know what that is? It's a porcelain gun made in Germany. Doesn't show up on your airport x-ray machines here, and it costs more than you make in a month.
When you go to a good number of gun stores around the country and want to own a simple, reliable firearm, they steer you towards Glocks. And fun fact, you can build one at home, either using an 80% receiver or a 3D printed receiver. This is a 3D printed receiver for the same gun. At some point in the future, I'm going to show you what it's like to build the gun on a 3D printed frame. However, for the moment, I'm going to keep it on the 80% receiver, largely because the polymer doesn't warp in heat. And I live in a place where, yeah, sometimes it gets hot enough that I'd worry about that. 3D printed guns are still capable. Some materials still have some drawbacks. Fun fact, I actually have a Patreon. If you want to support me over there, you can get access to these videos about a day early. Importantly, this is what Biden and a number of other dumbass Democrats refer to as a ghost gun. Essentially, it is a gun that doesn't have a serial number, like most prototypes, and most hand-built guns, and every gun that's ever been built at home. Like, a lot of guns don't have these. It's no more likely to commit a crime than any other gun. Arguably less so because I'm not going to be dumb enough to go out and commit a crime with a gun I literally showed on YouTube. All that means is, I built this at home. And somehow that makes that into a scary, horrifying thing. It really shouldn't be. There are plenty of people who build their own guns. There have been ever since there have been guns. And today I'm hoping more folks will buy the pieces in order to build their own. I'm also hoping people are going to message the ATF and let them know that the idea of redefining parts kits is, well, literally something they're not allowed to do. The Supreme Court already told them they're not allowed to just randomly pick the law out of their ass. And since I don't want to become a felon, and I'm hoping none of y'all want to become a felon, go message the ATF about parts kits, because otherwise you're going to have to build this the way that I built this, which is instead of using a parts kit, use individual parts. And frankly, it's possible, but it's annoying, and it takes a lot of time, and you have to be kind of a geek and know all of the parts that go into building a Glock. That said, if you do this my way, I managed to build this for a little bit under $300, including the frame. You just gotta notice when the sales are, and you have to be willing to wait. This took me a little over a year, and paying attention to all of the major sites and aggregating what the prices for things were. And also being willing to accept that sometimes people sell shit on eBay and it's just as good. Glocks are not magic. They're not made out of porcelain, they're made out of a polymer compound. And in addition to being a polymer frame, they have a metal slide, a metal barrel, a metal ejector, metal safeties, and a metal firing pin, and not to mention the ammunition itself is going to be metal. These guns show up in metal detectors, and in fact, if sent through an X-ray, the polymer involved in a Glock is photoresistant, so you get a nice clean outline of Glocks if they are put through any other detection method. Yes, amazingly enough, McLean got it wrong. So, me and my new everyday carry. This isn't a Gucci build. Frankly, there are much better and sexier versions of this that we're even going to be getting into on this channel. I'm going to go into how to pick out a light, and then I'm going to go into how to build your own custom Kydex holster. But this is solid and serviceable and reliable, and it does the thing that I needed to do, which is help me keep me and mine safe. So why did I choose to carry this? For one, the size is less of a compromise than the Taurus was. 12 rounds versus 15 rounds, you're going to pick the 15 round magazine every time. Perhaps more importantly, it's 15 plus 1 in about the same size printing package. Outline-wise, the G2C went for adding a bit of narrowness over adding a bit of over reducing length, and because of that, it doesn't hide as well when you conceal carry it. That width, however, also leads to problem number 2. Unfortunately, the G2C is just, it doesn't seem like it would be a problem, but the G2C is narrow enough that it doesn't fit my hand properly. I have to like kind of crawl a bit in order to get my hand around there. And it's fine, it's serviceable, and if you've got smaller hands or non-ridiculously long fingers, you should be fine. My fingers are a little bit on the lanky side. If you have slightly shorter, wider fingers, the G2C is probably going to be more than adequate for you. But for me, just grabbing this, it feels so much better. As always, let's go through the trigger. Gun's clear. Okay. Now on that G2C, there was that just mushy wall of nothingness at the beginning. And I want to be clear, this is a factory Glock 19 3rd generation. There is a lot of fancy work you can do to triggers like this. There is a lot of either custom modification or shops you can send it to, or even just full-on replacements that you can get. This is none of that. This is just what a factory Glock 19 trigger feels like. But I gotta say, there's this, instead of it feeling gritty, there is a very smooth and progressive take-up where it's not nothing. There is more travel than you probably want from something that was like a super professional. Like, it's not a 2011's trigger, it's not even a 1911's trigger. But when you can at least feel this like progressive additional weight, and then this hard wall, kind of like the G2C, where again, you have great engagement. And that's a snappy trigger. That it's 7-8 pounds of force. It's definitely heavy. I brought my partner to the range with this. They literally can't shoot this. Which in and of itself is a problem I need to figure out a solution to. But let's reset that. Alright. You can feel it ticking up right up until that nice audible and physical just, Alright, let's go through it one more time. You have that nice progressive break, and then just a wall with a pile of weight behind it, and a solid trigger behind that. I've heard people refer to it as kind of light switchy. Why is that a problem? This is it feels a little bit plasticky. I will give it that. But it also gives you such a clear indication of where that break point is, that it is a fantastically well put together trigger. All right. Reset. You can hear a little bit of a clink, but more importantly, you can feel a click in your finger. Just perfect. So there is one minor concern with the Glock, and also the reason why, frankly, if you are brand new to guns or gun building, I might not recommend a Glock as your first build, entirely because you can't get an external safety switch. And if you've never handled guns before, an external safety switch can, well, stop you from doing something really stupid. Unfortunately, guns are dangerous tools, and while you are still learning to handle them, it's best to have them be as safe as possible to handle. A Glock is ready to rock. A Glock comes out of the holster ready to go. Either you don't have a round in the chamber, in which case you're going to die before you can engage anyway, or you're going to have a round ready to go as soon as you pull it out of the holster. And no safety. So for beginners, I recommend something that if you're really obsessed with building a gun, build something with a safety switch. If you're just starting out, go buy a gun. In fact, at some point in the near future, I know exactly the gun I would recommend for beginners. I just need to get my hands on one to do a review of. So how does this feel to shoot? Oh, There is a cliche, it feels more like an extension of you and it goes where you point it. I had felt that on guns before, and I didn't really feel that on the G2C, and I was kind of trying to chalk that up to having been away from handling pistols for a while, and then I handled the Glock and it reminded me, oh no, I'm not a complete idiot, and I do have a fair amount of practice and training in this. I have long fingers. I got the weird long fingers, I get it. Thank you so much for tuning in, I really do appreciate it. Hit that like button if you want to see more content like this. And subscribe if you want to see more builds from me, and also want to see me shoot this in the future. If you want to prevent anybody else from subscribing, send me a message with several $1 million telling me to stop, and I probably will. Maybe. It's gotta be worth a shot, right? I mean, no promises, but like, that would really show me. That's it for this one. Thank you for checking out my latest build. I hope you're doing alright, and as always, moral doesn't mean legal, and Stonewall was a riot. Peace.